December is not just another page on the calendar. It is a moment chosen by God Himself, a sacred intersection between what has been and what is about to be. Many people look at this month as the end of a long journey, a quiet closing of doors, and a slow winding down of hope. But in the realm of faith, this season carries a different meaning. It is not a season of retreat. It is a season of divine announcement. While the world may call it an ending, God calls it an appointed time. What you see as your closing chapter may actually be the opening line of your greatest breakthrough. You may have walked through months of waiting, pressing through disappointment, praying with tears in your eyes, and believing when nothing around you made sense. You might feel emotionally tired, spiritually drained, and mentally worn from standing so long in faith. Yet this month was not placed randomly in your life. It is not by accident that you are still here, still breathing, still hoping, and still believing. God did not carry you through January to abandon you in December. He does not start stories He has no intention of finishing. If you made it to this season, it is because something is still unfolding for you. This is the time when faith must rise higher than feeling. Your emotions might tell you that nothing has changed, but heaven is not moved by how you feel. It moves by what it has promised. Behind the scenes, God is aligning things you cannot see. He is moving people into position, shifting circumstances, and opening doors that only He can open. Even when the calendar says year end, God says door. Even when your mind whispers it's too late, heaven declares right on time. There are moments when God waits until the last stretch to reveal His power, not because He forgot you, but because He is building your faith. Some blessings arrive late to prove they are not luck. They arrive late to prove they are God. When it happens at the edge, when it comes at the final hour, when it shows up after you thought it was over, that is when you know it could not have been anything else but divine intervention. December is not silent, it is speaking. It is announcing that delay is about to turn into delivery. You are not closing this year by chance. You are completing it by design. What looked like nothing was happening was actually God preparing everything. What seemed empty was actually being filled in secret. What appeared slow was really being shaped carefully. This month is not here to bury you. It is here to launch you. You are not standing in an ending. You are standing at the doorway of transformation. Waiting is one of the hardest parts of faith because it stretches your patience, tests your trust, and challenges your understanding. When you have prayed and nothing changed, when you have believed and still seen no results, and when you have hoped only to face another setback, it is easy to assume that God said no. But delay is not denial. Silence does not mean absence, and waiting does not mean abandonment. What feels like a pause in your life is often God working in ways you cannot yet see. There are seasons when God withholds answers not to hurt you, but to prepare you. If everything arrived the moment you asked for it, your character would never grow and your spiritual muscles would never strengthen. Waiting teaches you to trust when there is no evidence, to believe when there is no sign, and to stand when you feel weak. It is in delay that your faith learns how to walk on its own without leaning on comfort or clarity. While you are waiting for the blessing, God is working on the vessel. While you are watching the clock, heaven is shaping your heart. Many people give up one moment too soon. They walk away when the breakthrough is close and sit down when the door is about to open. They stop praying when the answer is almost ready. They stop believing when God is arranging everything behind the scenes. You may feel forgotten, but God does not forget. You may feel overlooked, but heaven knows your name. You may track time by weeks and months, but God measures things by purpose and preparation. Some things have not come yet because you are not yet ready to receive them in the way God intends. Other things have not shown up because God is protecting you from a version that would hurt you. What you want immediately may not be what will last permanently. The waiting is not punishment, it is protection. The delay is not rejection, it is refinement. If God released everything at once, it would overwhelm you instead of blessing you. There are moments in life when God waits until your dependence on Him is stronger than your desire for the thing you are asking for. That is when He knows you can handle the blessing without losing yourself. If it arrived early, it might distract you. If it came too fast, it might destroy you. If it showed up too soon, it could separate you from the very source who gave it. God's calendar does not operate on urgency, it moves on accuracy. When the time is right, nothing can stop what is meant for you. No delay can cancel your destiny. No waiting season can void your promise. No slow moment can erase your future. The same God who spoke, it is the same God who will fulfill it. What was planted in faith will rise in victory. There comes a moment when God steps into a situation and declares that the season has shifted. When that moment arrives, nothing in hell and nothing on earth can stop what heaven has decided. You may have spent years fighting the same battles, praying the same prayers, and standing against the same walls. You may have tried every strategy, sought every solution you could find, and still ended up in the same place. But when God says, now the rules change, natural laws bow to divine authority, and impossible situations begin to move. Obstacles do not intimidate God. What looks like a dead end to you is just another display of His power waiting to happen. He specializes in opening doors with no handles, creating pathways through seas, and making rivers flow in deserts. When God releases His timing, every resistance begins to break, chains fall, walls shake. Locked doors swing open without permission from circumstances. The problem may look big to you, but it is small in the presence of the one who spoke the universe into existence. You may feel trapped by people, bound by systems, or limited by past mistakes. You may think you are too late, too weak, or too broken for anything to change now. But heaven is not influenced by your history. God is not looking at where you came from. He is focused on where He is taking you. When He decides to move you forward, no opinion can stop you, no enemy can block you, and no failure can cancel your future. The same God who lifted you once will lift you again. When God steps in, things shift suddenly. What was stalled for years can change in one moment. What you could not fix in a lifetime can be healed in a heartbeat. A single word from God carries more power than 1,000 plans from man. You may not see it coming, and you may not expect it, but when the divine moment arrives, it will move faster than your fear and stronger than your doubt. Sometimes God waits until everything feels impossible just to prove that your breakthrough is not the result of your strength, but of his power. When there is no credit to give man, God receives all the glory. When no door is visible, God makes one. When no way appears clear, God creates one. And when you have exhausted every option, God reveals his. What you are facing is not final, it is temporary. It is not permanent, it is passing. It is not the end, it is the setup. The delay, the pressure, and the struggle are not signs of defeat. They are signs that something is about to shift. Every resistance you feel is an indication that your blessing is near. There is no force strong enough to overturn God's decision once it is made. His word does not return empty. His promise does not come void. His plan does not fail halfway. When the moment comes, it will come with authority, with power, and with purpose. And when he moves completely. Pain is not the enemy, it is the hidden teacher. Every tear you have shed, every wound you have endured, and every disappointment you have faced carries within it a purpose. Life may have hurt you in ways that seem unfair, leaving scars that feel permanent, but God uses those very experiences to shape, strengthen, and prepare you for what is ahead. What seems like suffering today is being transformed into a stepping stone for your tomorrow. The very pain that once weighed you down is becoming the instrument that lifts you up. Many people look at their struggles and see only loss, failure, or setback. They focus on the bitterness of the moment instead of the lessons it brings. But the truth is, pain has a divine way of reshaping perspective. It teaches patience, deepens compassion, and strengthens resilience. The trials that you face refine your spirit, sharpen your vision, and make your faith more resilient. God does not waste suffering, he repurposes it. He turns wounds into wisdom, heartbreak into insight, and trials into triumphs. When you have walked through seasons of loss, you develop a depth that cannot be learned in comfort. When you have experienced rejection, you gain a strength that cannot be acquired in acceptance. When life has failed to give you what you wanted, you learn to trust in what God provides. Each challenge, each painful moment is being used to mold you into the person you were meant to become. Your pain is a canvas, and God is painting a masterpiece from it. The transformation of pain into purpose is not always immediate. It does not happen the moment trouble comes. Often it requires endurance, persistence, and faith. But if you allow it, God will take every hardship and turn it into testimony. What once caused shame will now bring honor. What once caused sorrow will now inspire hope. What once seemed like defeat will now become your defining victory. Your past struggles will no longer define you. Instead, they will become your source of strength and inspiration. Healing from pain is also about perspective. It is realizing that setbacks are setups, that wounds are lessons, and that brokenness can lead to breakthroughs. When you stop resisting the lessons in your pain and start seeking God's purpose through it, everything changes. What was once unbearable becomes transformative. What was once a burden becomes a bridge to your next level. God's ability to convert suffering into blessing is limitless, and he will use every painful experience to position you for something greater. Your pain is not wasted. Your struggles are not meaningless. God is working behind the scenes, turning every tear into testimony, every sorrow into a song, and every wound into a weapon for your victory. What tried to hold you back is actually preparing you to move forward. And when the time comes, the very experiences that hurt you the most will become the very stories that bless the world. December is not just another month on the calendar. It is a season marked for restoration and elevation. This is a time when what has been broken is mended, what has been lost is returned, and what has been delayed begins to show fruit. God's hand is at work orchestrating changes that the eye cannot yet see, preparing circumstances that will lift you higher than you ever imagined. Every struggle, every disappointment, and every setback you have faced has been setting the stage for this very season. The past was preparation. The present is manifestation. Restoration is more than returning to where you were. It is God bringing you into a place even better than before. It is a season when relationships are healed, opportunities are restored, and dreams that were deferred begin to move forward. Life may have tried to steal your joy, take away your peace, or shatter your hope, but in this season, God is making all things new. What seemed impossible yesterday is becoming possible today, and what was broken is being rebuilt with strength, purpose, and precision. Elevation is not merely a rise in status or position. It is a spiritual, emotional, and mental ascent that aligns you with God's plan. It is the lifting of your spirit above fear, the strengthening of your mind above doubt, and the empowering of your faith above every obstacle. Elevation is being placed in situations where your influence increases, your voice matters, and your impact reaches far beyond what you could achieve on your own. It is the season where doors that were locked open wide and opportunities that were hidden are now visible and accessible. This month carries the potential for open doors and divine connections. People who were meant to be in your life will come into alignment with your purpose. Opportunities that seemed elusive will begin to present themselves. Projects that were stalled will gain momentum. Circumstances that seemed impossible will turn around in your favor. Every day, every moment, and every decision becomes an opportunity for God's favor to manifest. It is a time to step boldly, speak confidently, and act in faith because the season has been prepared for your breakthrough. Healing and peace are also central to this season. Emotional wounds that have lingered for years, burdens that have weighed heavily on your heart, and fears that have paralyzed your spirit are being lifted. The restoration of your mind, body, and soul allows you to step into the fullness of what God has intended. This is a time for spiritual renewal, a revival of hope, and a strengthening of faith. As you embrace this season, you will find that God's provision, protection, and presence are more evident than ever before. December is a